my name is Aaron. Today, the perfect parts. Shakey Graves song. I have familiarized myself with it, although looking back and watching him play it a couple different ways, I don't think I was ever playing it correctly, but I hope I am now, and I think I am. I watched a couple of his live things. If you just look at like a chord chart of the song, it can be kind of confusing because he's using special voicings, he's playing them in a special way, and you can get through it if you play it according to like an ultimate guitar tab or chord sheet or whatever, but it's just not going to sound the same. So yeah, I think I've got a good grasp of a version of it at least. If it's not perfect to what Shakey did, it can at least get you by, and it sounds very, very similar, at least to my ears. And if you hear any glaring mistakes, please let me know, but we'll get right into it. So it starts, we're in standard, E, A, D, G, B, E, standard tuning. In this era of Shakey Graves, it's a little more rare. He didn't play a lot in standard when he was writing things like the perfect parts in that age, the golden age of Shakey Graves, if I may be so bold. Yeah, he's in standard, and we're doing some like higher fret chord voicings here. This first chord is actually just an E minor, so the tab is correct, but you're kind of playing this it's almost kind of like a fragment of the E minor bar chord. You're getting your E here on the so your pointer finger's on the 7th fret of your A string, your pinky or your ring finger, whatever, you can kind of use whatever. I'm an overuser of my pinky. That's on the 9th fret of your G string, and then everything else is just open, and you're still just getting a normal E minor chord, but you're making use of these open strings. It gives it a nice I mean, I'm a big proponent of open chords, using higher fret notes and then also throwing open chords under them. I think it sounds really cool. It's really good, and it's kind of this distinctly guitar tone that I really appreciate. But anyway, that's what he's doing here. So E minor, and then we go to what is a C, some kind of C. I guess I should probably figure out really quickly if anyone actually cares. So we got, what do we got? C at the 7th fret of our well, C at the 8th fret of your E string, your low E string. Your pointer finger is kind of back here doing like a micro bar across your D, G, and B strings, and those notes would be computating. What we got here? We got A, we got D, and we got F sharp. This is hardly a C. See, this is why I'm not a huge fan of that ultimate guitar tab, because I mean C, D, what'd I say? A and F sharp is giving you like that's like a D7. I'll double check myself, but this is the chord that he's playing. I don't know if that's correct, but this is the chord that he's playing. It's kind of like a D7 type thing, I guess you could call it. I think you can call it that. So we got E minor. So yeah, what I'm doing here is middle finger on the 8th fret of my low E string, pointer finger micro barring across D, G, and B, and then my pinky or your ring finger is coming up to get the, what is that, the 9th fret, did I say not? Oh my god, 7th, correction already, 8th fret low E string, 7th fret micro bar across D, G, and B, and then 9th fret G string. So I guess you're not actually playing what I say, C, D, D sharp, E, you're playing an E. So you could, that's more E-like, it's like an E6, or I'm sorry, it's more C-like. It's like a C6 with also a 4. It's barely an E. It's a weird chord, is what it is. That's okay. And in this first passing, so we got E minor. I know I'm explaining probably a little too much. In the first iteration, because you're going to play this chord twice, in the first iteration, I would focus on those top 3 notes, the 8th fret of your E string, the 7th fret of your D string, and the 9th fret of your G string, because that note kind of comes out more prominently later. So you got E minor. And one thing he's also doing with this E minor, he's He's moving his pointer finger up, kind of what would be a beat before the C, to kind of walk up from B to C. So into C, and down to G. And he's doing this big slide. This is the Blackbird chord. If you have ever learned Blackbird, it's this, like, I think you could call it, like, it is just a G chord. I mean, you got G, D, G, B. So you got regular G. I'm just fretting 3rd fret, both E strings. And then slide, pointer finger up to the 10th fret of your A string. And then pinky, ring finger, whatever, on the 12th fret of your B string. So if you think of that as like a musical measure or a bar, you're just cutting that in half. So you're doing 2 beats with normal G, and 2 beats with your high G, and then back to that same C chord. And this is where you want to get that what is that? It's my 7th fret of my B string, so your F sharp. And then just back, so E minor, B, C, G, big slide, back to C, and then that's basically the whole verse. That's what all the verses are done over. It's a cool part though. I recommend electric guitar. I wish I could get a little bit more tone going, but I find the notes get a little muddied, and it's kind of hard to explain, or hard to hear the notes articulately. So I'm using like a jazz preset. But anyway, and then you go into so if you think of this kind of like the end of your verse. Well, that's your thing, so. And then that's kind of what I would consider to be like the really meaty riff of Perfect Parts. When you think of the song Perfect Parts, that's what I think of, is this. So what we got going on here is we're just moving down to our normal E minor chord, 2nd fret A string, 2nd fret D string, and you're kind of strumming through that on your first go around, and you're gonna have your pinky. Pretty much pinky here, on the 3rd fret of your high E string, and you're strumming through that, and then on your way back up, you're just hitting that high E string, and then D, and then high E again. So, and when I say D, I mean 3rd fret of your B string, pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string. Oops. And really kind of pay attention to your strum patterns and techniques, because sometimes he's strumming through the whole chord, sometimes he's playing single notes. Some of the songs, some of the versions of the song, he's literally kind of doing this as an intro, and he's just doing like, with way more distortion and effects going on. So after that riff, you're just kind of reaching up whatever finger feels best and slapping that 3rd fret of your low E string. And then you're going up to C, your C bar chord, which is the 8th fret, bar shape, full bar across the 8th fret, and then an E in front of it, what's kind of referred to as an E shape, because if you play an E, it's like this. So full bar across the 8th fret, middle finger on the 9th fret of your G string, and then ring finger and pinky on the 10th fret of your A and D strings, respectively. So, and then you're just sliding that down. C, 1 fret down to B, and then 2 frets down to A. depending on what part of the song you're on, you might repeat that, and really just mess around with it. Like, I say that about every Shakey Graves song, because that's almost the attitude that Shakey Graves is taking towards his own songs. He does a lot of improvisation. I mean, I don't know to the extent to which it's all improvised. Maybe he practices all this and chooses which one he's going to play. I don't think so. I think I've actually heard him say in an interview that, you know, shows just kind of go, and he goes where it goes, and tries to improvise best he can. And so yeah, improvise and play around, because there's a lot of room for riffage at the end of the song. He always does like kind of a cool outro at the end of the song. I didn't take the time to learn that, because I think that's kind of the moment where you add your own little flair, and you do your own thing, and you kind of you figure your own thing out. That's a good way to learn. Is just mess around, learn something, learn how and what is going on, and then mess around within that kind of like template that you've been given, that is this song. That's just my theory on it anyway. So I'll go ahead and run through the whole thing again, and like I've been trying to do, I'll try to do a whole tab and chord sheet. I guess I'll do a chord sheet for this too. That'll be helpful, because these are chords. They're just being it's got some riffage going on, so some tabs will probably help too. So here it goes. So yeah, that's the whole song. This verse, chorus, no real bridges. It's a really good song though. It's a good collection of chords played in a fun way. It's a fun song to learn, and it'll help you get good at guitar. Well, not good at guitar is a pretty subjective term, but it'll help you get better at guitar. 'Cause, there's a lot more movement. Well, there's just a lot of movement, not a lot more. Some of Shakey's songs are fairly simple. Some of them have a little bit more going on, a little bit more intricacy involved. So, and I think this kind of falls under that category. And that's also a relative statement, because intricacy is, you know, relative to the genre and the player, and you know, what they can do and what fits within the genre. And that's, I'm not going to go on a rant about intricate music, but that's that. I'll get the tab ready, the chord sheet ready, and hopefully have this hopefully this will help. But yeah, it's Thursday. Hope everybody has a good rest of the week, last couple days of the week, and then a good weekend, and I'll catch you later.